Just in the last 2 weeks, we've sent 5 military transport aircraft with 400 tons of food and medicine to Colombia and Brazil. As President Duque and I discussed today, our efforts to date will not only continue, they will be increased. Despite Maduro's brutality, we will press on. As we speak, we're identifying new areas along the border where we can pre-position additional aid for the struggling people of Venezuela. Today also, it's my privilege to announce that the United States will provide an additional $56 million to support our partners in the region as you come to the aid of the Venezuelan people.
Blocked a bridge that connects the country to Colombia as humanitarian aid was just about to arrive. We used a drone to get these images of an orange oil tanker and 2 large blue containers positioned across the 3-lane bridge. It blocks the vital aid from entering, with the Maduro regime saying, "We are not beggars."
Los Angeles' homeless crisis is the worst in the entire nation, with about 60,000 people lining the streets every day. LA Mayor Eric Garcetti has even declared homelessness in this city a state of emergency. How do you solve this pandemic? Sustainable housing is what most homeless experts agree is the best solution. However, it's not that simple.
Isa Suarez is in the border town of Cucuta in Colombia. They're not beggars, but there is a serious, I want to say refugee crisis, but it's not so much refugees, it's more like transient day passers coming across, trying to get stuff in. Well, you tell me.
KPIX 5 News begins with tourists turning away from the city by the bay. A major convention pulls out of San Francisco, saying its members don't feel safe on the streets.
Streets intoxicated or mentally ill. Those are the images that tourists are taking home.
You can smell it.
And now it's seriously affecting the city's biggest business. $9 billion a year industry in San Francisco, so officials have been reluctant to go public with the problems, in part because it makes the city look bad. And it's bad for business.
Restaurants, taxis, people spend more money outside a hotel than inside, and for that reason, it's something we should all be concerned about.
But now comes word that a major medical association canceling medical group is not alone.
A number of groups are concerned about the condition of the streets in San Francisco and saying, we don't know if they're safe, they're dirty, we don't know if we want to meet here.
Walking down Market Street.
It's obviously not making the difference that it...
We have to be compassionate about those people in need, but if people are breaking the law, it's not...
Joe, I gotta call out on this.
There have been some steps in the right direction, and we just need a lot more.
It's just a sad state of affairs is what I think. Terrible.
Does it give you a bad impression of the San Francisco as a city?
Very much. You're spot on, Richard. He said we're not a country of beggars, but you ask anyone here, this is a humanitarian crisis. So many people telling me we are hungry, we are starving. Now, this is the Simon Bolivar Bridge. It's the main pedestrian bridge that connects.
We must first understand why housing for the homeless is a sustainability issue. These days, sustainability is not just about preserving things like energy or the environment. Today, sustainability is about preserving all resources. Human beings are a resource. Housing is a resource.
Housing to me is the prism through which we refract almost every other issue. So if we're talking about sustaining life in Los Angeles and California, traffic.
We begin with a walk through LA's Skid Row, where there are 4,000 homeless people in a 50-block radius who call these encampments home. Skid Row has morphed into its own city. You can't really comprehend the enormity of the homeless tragedy here unless you basically spend a day like we did talking to these people of the pavement, many of whom are stuck here with no way out. These tents and the broken concrete are their living room, dining room, kitchen. On a good day, they have water, toothpaste, a toothbrush.
Regime from the millions that they've stolen from the Venezuelan people, and we urge other freedom-loving countries to do the same. But as we stand here today, for all that we have done before, it's time to do more. Many of your countries have pledged to crack down on the regime's money laundering and other corrupt activities and to cut off the worst offenders from the financial system completely.
53-year-old Nikki Gagnon lived out here on the streets of LA.
My husband and I came here from Las Vegas thinking that we had an apartment, and when we got here it was just way too expensive to live, and we tried to get into one of the shelters and they were full.
How bad is it out here on the street?
Someone who could be your friend at 6 o'clock at night can be fiending for drugs and at midnight kill you because they know you have a couple dollars in your pocket that they want.
Did you have ever imagined that you would be living on the street homeless?
At 48, my mom died, and I lost my mind. I had a nervous breakdown, and that's the first time I actually became homeless. I lost my house, my school, my career, everything. My income was barely paying the rent. We were depending on my mom, who was elderly, to cover the bills, and when that wasn't there anymore, I couldn't afford anything. It really brought a huge battle of depression to me. There's still not a day that goes by that I don't wish that I could die and be with her.
Mickey says she didn't know where she was going to get her next meal.
Rice, pasta, all the food, oil, she bought, toda la comida. ¿Y quién culpa por eso? Who do you blame for this?
¿Cómo?
¿A quién culpa por esa crisis?
Nicolás Maduro.
She blames Maduro. There she goes. This is the reaction, Richard, I've been getting every day. Señor, ¿qué tiene ahí usted? ¿Qué es esto? Arena, flour, more flour here.
Bathe herself, get through the night on the street, or if the police were going to chase her off someone's doorstep. What was the toughest part of being out on the street?
Instability.
Was the key to your survival getting housing, sustainable housing?
Yes, because I had no faith and belief in myself. It gave me back my dignity and my self-respect. And that's the main thing out here, is we have to do that. We have to let people know that they are worthy and they're not just bodies of flesh.
Todo arena? More all flour. I mean, flour is one of the main staples here, is where they make the arepas, their bread. So you see a lot of it. I've seen mothers with children come in here to even get their children vaccinated, Richard. So this is it. They come in with these.
As the people of Venezuela take to the streets to reclaim their liberty, it's time to make good on those promises. And so today, with great respect, the United States calls on all, except President Guaido's sincere offer of amnesty and an inclusive transition to democracy.
So what to go to Venezuela when he has all this here? This is America, the first world country, the richest country in the world, where all his people, it's on the streets, looking in the trash for food. You don't have to go to Venezuela. You have it here. This is the great America, powerful and rich.